With Committee on Parole, we are reconvening at Rayburn Correctional Center on Wednesday, April 26, 2023. It is 10:52 a.m. And once again, Warden Bickham, would you and your staff please introduce yourself for the record?
Keith Bickham, Deputy Warden.
Brittany Williams, classification supervisor. Stacy Rowell, classification admin.
Tammy Brumfield, records.
Jennifer Ellington, records.
You got the 18 today.
We got some trainees today.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Ready for our first case, and I have Mr. Sterling Blade on my list.
Okay.
Come on.
Good morning, Mr. Blade. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
Sterling Blade, 405748.
Mr. Blade, you're here for parole hearing this morning. First, I'm going to read some identifying information into the record, and then we'll start the parole interview with you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Blade, you're classified as a third felony offender. You're currently serving a 25-year sentence as a habitual offender, having been sentenced in May of 2006 for unauthorized entry of an inhabited dwelling. The parole eligibility date was January 29th, 2012. You have a good time date, November 3rd, 2029. This is a rehearing for you. You previously were heard in January of this year.
Yes, ma'am. July of 20.
July, okay. All right. Your case this morning has been assigned to Mrs. Wise. Would you answer her question?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Okay.
Okay, all right. Did you have any visitors today? Anybody coming?
No, ma'am. They all working.
They're all working, all right. Okay. How long for the record, sir, how long you served on this charge?
17 years.
Okay, 17 years of a 25-year sentence, right? And how old today?
Ma'am,
How old are you today?
45.
45. And of your 45 years of living, how long have you spent in jail, would you say, when you count them up?
Probably about 23 years.
Oh, okay, so this is the longest time you ever been in jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Longest time, okay. Tell us what you've been doing. What do you do every day?
I'm currently right now in basic automotive, but since I've been down incarcerated, I've been cooking my majority of my whole jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Yes, ma'am. And I've been applying myself with these therapy sessions and groups and courses. Getting my
Okay.
GED in 2010 and just building a positive, you know what I'm saying, timeline from there.
okay. Well, call out the programs that meant the most to you that you've taken. What would you say?
I would say Cage Rage, Celebrate Recovery, and BETG.
And what is that one?
That's the offender treatment group therapy for the
Sorry.
Okay.
for the
That's the sex
1998.
offender classes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. The sex offender classes. Okay. The BETG group.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Basic
good.
treatment group.
Okay. I did see that you did complete all 4 phases of the sex offender treatment program. You finished that in 21, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So tell us what's your takeaways from that?
The takeaways.
And what you learned, what did you take away from the class?
I learned how to identify. I learned the prevention. I understand what to look, understanding it and what to look for.
How you mean?
It's during phase 1, you have to know how to identify with the definitions. And then part 2, it shows you how to write sentences using those definitions and identifying the risk factors. In phase 3, you have to give a breakdown of low, medium, and high. And stage 4 is the final one, and you have to give an overall on the whole program.
And so what risk factors?
Ma'am,
What did you get?
What are your risk factors? What did you learn with your risk factors? Do you remember?
Hanging around negative peer groups, negative emotional state, and denial maybe.
Okay, all right, okay. We do an assessment as to needs, and you ranked high in antisocial thinking. And you rank high overall. There's nothing you can do about it. I just want you to be aware of that an assessment that we look at as a tool, in reaching a decision. Now, back to your current offense. You went to jury trial on your current offense?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What was
Yes,
your
ma'am.
thinking then? What were you thinking then?
I wasn't thinking clearly when I went to trial, evidently, because if I'd have took the plea bargain then, I would have been home. But by me, still being hot-headed under the influence of those demons, dealing with those cigarettes, alcohol, and drugs, I wasn't thinking clearly, and I got myself in a nice swindle. And that's why I've been incarcerated for so long.
Have you had any chance? Have you had victim awareness?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you look at your current charge, of unauthorized entry, with a charge, what is it? Unauthorized entry on behalf. Well,
Yes, ma'am.
what have you come up with of how you've impacted them? What have you come up with?
I understand I affected a lot of families, not just my family.
Mhm.
Young lady that was involved and the families that surrounded them, my whole parish, my kids' mama and they family, and, people that surrounded them. I affected a lot of people by my actions, and I take full responsibility of those actions.
What was your relationship to your victim in this crime?
Oh, she was just a live-in girlfriend. The situation had got to the point where she was lying, and we just come to the agreement that we was about to break it off completely. And I said what I wanted, and she said the stuff that she was gonna keep, but she didn't keep her end of the deal, and she took some of my things, like my car, my jewelry, some other things, and she hid it from me. That's what made me, when I found out where she was at, I just went and kicked the door in. I was knocking on the door, calling her, and she wouldn't come outside. And I just went and kicked down the lady door, the young lady that she was in the house with. She called the police, and then she come out, I'm gonna show you where your stuff is. I said, we ain't have to go through this. It had to come to this. So she got in the car with me, left with me, showed me where my thing was, and I dropped it back off.
Well, the report I got doesn't say that.
But that's how it really happened, because that's what I was supposed to be charged with in the beginning. But the way it happened so fast. I was charged with aggravated kidnapping, aggravated assault, second-degree kidnapping, and there was another charge. It was whole charge.
Resisting an officer and burying a police officer. Aggravated burglary, yeah.
Man, it looked pretty bad back then.
Yep. It did. So what's your relationship with her now?
I'm not affiliated with it, no kind of way, man.
Y'all don't have children together?
No, ma'am.
Now, I do want to inform you that you do have law enforcement opposition to your early release. There's nothing you can do about it. And again, I want to congratulate you on your high set. I'm glad to see that you got that. How do you think you did on supervision, the times you were on supervision?
I completed one and then I violated one.
Yeah, that's what I'm showing. Tell me about the drug use. How old were you when you started using drugs?
Maybe about 16, 17, all the way up to about like 24, 25.
How did you come to stop using drugs?
When I come to prison and start taking these classes and therapy groups and treatment courses along the way during this incarceration.
Do you think you need any further substance abuse treatment?
No, ma'am, because I really don't have no habits. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I don't even have the urges. But if I do have an urge, I know I have accountability partners and sponsors that can help me with that. I can go talk to it. And outside, you know, short term and long term accountability partners and sponsors.
Who are they? They're not here today, so who are they?
Parents, mother and father, sister and brother, daughter, son.
So, when was your last write-up?
In 20.
And how many you've had these 17 years?
Roughly speaking, maybe over 30.
I can't find in my notes how many you had. Warren, how many write-ups did he have?
35.
35. That's 35. Okay. All right. Thank you for answering my question, sir. Warren, what you want to tell us?
Well, Sterling has worked in the kitchen since he came here. He started out just helping out around in there, and then he moved up to cook. He held that position until he went to the VOTEC. He is in our honors program as well.
Right, Mr. Roche has a question.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Blade, how are you?
Good morning.
Mr. Blade, convince me that you're not the person that got arrested in 1994 for carrying an illegal weapon. You got arrested in 1997 for cardinal knowledge of a juvenile. This one is your first sex offense, and the one you're in right now is your second sex offense. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And then simple battery, simple assault, criminal damage to property, aggravated flight from an officer, aggravated flight from an officer, assault of drug, aggravated kidnapping, simple battery, second-degree kidnapping, battery on a police officer, aggravated burglary, simple burglary. It just, you have an extensive criminal background. Convince me that you're not that person anymore.
I don't do the things that I used to do. I don't hang around them crowds of people no more. I mean, I don't have no more time to waste. I was a little boy then. I had to make a real transition from a boy to a man, not only for me, for my parents and my children.
How long have you been incarcerated?
On this Joe's 17 years.
17 years?
Just on this
I
Joe,
know.
just on this charge.
But what I'm saying is you hadn't been around those persons, but you've been incarcerated for 17 years.
They have them in here too, sir.
Okay. So your last write-up was, what, 2.5 years ago? What happened there?
The last write-up.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
I had took some food out the kitchen. I was charged with theft for Rule 22.
Okay. I'll listen, but I'm still not convinced that you're ready in the criminal aspects of your life concerns me. Drugs, violence, crimes against persons. That's a concern to me. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I see, this is what I was, your employment plan is with Reentry Solutions. What are you gonna be doing for them?
That's a platform that guys from that area, from where I'm from, they contact that lady and her family, and she find out what you could do, and what you're able to take on, and just build from there. She helped with everything. She helped with housing, whatever I'm a need, basically, that my family can't help me with.
Oh, okay.
I have transportation. I wouldn't need that, but she would help me, you know, get a job. And if I want a second job, she said she'll help me able to help with that too.
Okay. All right, so it was a reentry place, okay, I thought it was, okay, all right. And you're gonna live with your mother, that's correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And now when was the last time you used drugs? Any kind of illegal drug, any kind of illegal substance, can you remember?
Back in 2000, maybe 5.
2005, okay,
Yes, ma'am, when I caught this charge.
so you haven't used since?
No, ma'am, I hadn't relapsed since.
And it's concerning for me that you were on parole when you committed this charge.
No, man, I was I had been released. I think that was in 2003. I was discharging at my local parish jail on the CDS 2 under the possession and the flight charge. When I caught another charge, I had been out maybe like 30 days and the charge was thrown on me.
Oh, okay.
And I was violated then. I violated myself. The board didn't violate me. I violated myself. And then when I got out, I bonded out. And then when I went to court from the street, the charge wasn't there no more. So that's when I completed it. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think looks like they just closed your case. When you got that new charge, they just closed your case. That's what they did. But you were, what I read, you were on supervision when you committed this charge. You might have thought that you were off. All right. That's all I had.
All right, Mr. Blade, is there a statement you'd like to make to us before we go?
That's basically it.
Okay, all right, I think we're prepared to vote. Mrs. Wise.
This is your second time before the board. I would like to see you do a little longer write-up rate. 2019 is kind of concerning for me with your poor supervision record. You still are a very, very, very young man. And you have an opportunity to just really, you just have another opportunity. I'm just not willing to take a chance on you today, sir, because of your poor supervision history and your high needs. I just think that you need a little bit more work. That is my vote.
Mr. O'Shea.
My vote is the same for the same reasons.
All right, Mr. Blade, when I sat on your panel in 2020,
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
And my notes back then said you need to complete the sex offender treatment, and you've done that.
Yes, ma'am.
My concern at that time. My vote today would be to grant because you did what was asked of you. So, however, you've gotten 2 votes to deny, 1 vote to grant. So on a 2-to-1 vote, your parole's denied today.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Stay right up. Reapply when you can.
Thank y'all.